Hi friends, welcome back. I'm Alisa Abdullaeva and I'm here to help you to create a harmonious and happy relationship between men and women. And today we're going to discuss some differences between men and women and why woman needs a protection. If we're looking at the graph, that women are born already right here, meaning they are born pure, they are born clean, soft, and feminine. And we'll look at this side as the side of value, and this is time. Hope you can understand my handwriting. So this is time, and this is the value. And so a woman, when she is born, she is pure. And if nothing traumatic happens in her life, she can continue living a life of happiness, purity, femininity, love, bringing to a man and a family peace and harmony. But also, Vedas were explaining that women in the past were living under the protection. First, if you want to guess who was protecting a woman, is a father. Then she had to be under the protection of a husband. And then she had to be under the protection of her son. And so the periods like this, it's not like between a father and a husband, she was alone for 5 or 10 years before she found a husband, and then husband would protect her. No, she was always under the protection. Now, a lot of times men, when they hear a word protection, that's where they get lost. Why a woman needs a protection? A woman needs a protection from negative emotions, from traumas, from stresses. Because when a woman goes through stresses, she actually degrades. And that's why father, husband, and son, it was their duty to protect their mother, a wife, and a daughter from getting stressed out. A simple example, my husband is in the trucking business, and he had to make sure that his trucks are moving around the United States and safe and sound, gets to from point A to point B or from point A to point C. Sometimes, very seldom, I hear him on the phone after hours, and I hear that a truck was stolen, or what they were moving from point A to point B got bad, things like that. He handles the stress okay, but when I hear, I get so worried. And women, when we are worried about husbands and kids, we cannot process the stresses the same way you men can. And so throughout the centuries, men knew that, and they were doing everything to protect a woman from those outside world and negative stresses. So now, the biggest danger of what women now, modern women in a society, are trying to do is to try, instead of staying feminine, pure, and loving as they were already born, they're trying to get higher. Meaning this line would have to go up even here. Meaning this is not enough. They want to reach success. They want to reach money, career, or something else. But every time a woman decides to get education, she tries to get a career, she's trying to get advancement in corporate America, she goes through stresses. Because it's not like she's sleeping, she wakes up and boom, she has a degree. And then she sleeps and she wakes up and she's like, oh, boom, she has a new amazing job. No, she has to work very, very hard to get it. And when she produces this hormone, she degrades. She, every time she goes through stresses, she degrades. And so when a man goes through stresses, he actually achieves, he conquers, and he becomes more and more man. That's why if we look at the history of Bruce Lee, if he wouldn't be shamed and if the boys would make fun of him and beat him in school, he would have never become Bruce Lee, the famous Bruce Lee that we know. Or if Sylvester Stallone wouldn't have half of his mouth paralyzed and kids would not making fun of him, he wouldn't go to the gym and work out and become strong man as he is. And he looks even better now that most of the men in their 30s and 40s. And so man has to go through the trouble, through shame, through challenges and difficulties. Every time a boy fights and he wins, he becomes stronger. Every time boy or a man gets shamed, he feels like he needs to go to sport or become stronger in order to conquer and overcome that trouble. And that's what makes a man a strong man. So, but going back to women. So when women are actually tries to achieve something, what happens? They think now in a modern society that they go from point E to point to the sky. But actually this starts to happen. They're degrading. They're actually going down. And so, again, a man's job was for centuries to protect them so they can stay pure right here. Because again, woman is already born pure, soft, and feminine. And that's why when a woman sleeps with a man, she doesn't even think that she's doing something wrong. She looks at him as he's her future husband. And she tells her friends, almost to her girlfriends, is like, well, we're sleeping because he's my future man, he's my future husband. Do you think a man ever thinks like that when he sleeps with a woman on the third or fourth date? No. Maybe only if he gets 8 shots of whiskey, he might think like that. And I still doubt it. But women think like that because they're already born again pure on this point. And so here we have to again understand that woman is pure, and that's why it's a man's responsibility, a father, a husband, and son, to protect her. Because if she is not under the protection, that's when she becomes promiscuous. And she becomes promiscuous because she feels unprotected. She doesn't feel the protection, and the world to a woman is a dangerous place. And she's willing to sell her beauty, she's willing to sell herself, and that's when she finds low quality men. And a low quality man exists. And when a man born, he is born at this point. And if he conquers school, studies, gets a job, gets a woman, he actually, every time he conquers, he grows. So he conquers something, he grows. He conquers something, he grows. He conquers something, he grows. And this what happens to men. He needs to meet her at this point. But some men live a very comfortable, lazy life, and they just go from point here to point here to point here to point here to point here, and they stay here. But a man like this also needs a woman. These are feminine men, and we see the degradation in a society where men are not trying to achieve anything. They just complain, and they just put women down, and they just are miserable in life and they're not doing anything to grow or to conquer themselves. But men like this who are here, what kind of women do you think they attract? They attract this kind of women. And these are promiscuous, masculine women. And now in a society, they call themselves feminists who are promoting the feminism. And so these degraded women meet these degraded men, and they have degraded kids. And we see a huge population of these degraded people. And at any point, if man decides, yes, I do want to start growing and achieving things, the moment he realizes that, he starts to grow. And as he starts to grow, what kind of women do you think he attracts? He attracts this kind of women who are under protection, who are feminine, pure, and have a value. They value themselves. They're high standard women. So I would like for you to understand this concept. If you have any questions, please ask me. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Namaste.